Have you ever caught yourself lying awake at night, worrying about money, chasing the idea of financial security that always seems just out of reach? Many of us are caught in this cycle, believing that happiness depends entirely on the numbers in our bank account. But what if I told you there's a deeper, more powerful way to approach your financial journey? One that doesn't just bring you wealth, but also peace of mind. This wisdom comes from Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that continues to shine as a practical guide for modern challenges. Stoicism isn't a dusty old theory locked in books. It's a living, breathing roadmap for how to see money not as a master, but as a tool. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, once said, "It is not things that disturb us, but our interpretation of them." This insight is a game changer in finance. The stress we feel about money rarely comes from the actual numbers. It comes from how we choose to interpret those numbers. For one person, a small balance might bring despair. For another, the same situation sparks creativity and discipline. When we shift our perception, money stops being a constant source of anxiety. Instead, it becomes a resource, a tool we can manage wisely, no matter how much or how little we have. This is the first Stoic lesson. Peace comes not from wealth itself, but from our mindset toward wealth. Epictetus, another great Stoic thinker, reminds us, "Only the educated are free." In finance, this translates to self-control and discipline. In today's world, we are constantly bombarded with messages that tempt us to spend impulsively. New gadgets, luxury items, and endless upgrades. Stoicism teaches us to pause and ask, do I really need this? Does it serve my deeper goals? By practicing restraint and choosing only what aligns with our true needs, we step closer to financial freedom. This isn't about depriving yourself. It's about gaining control over your desires so you are no longer a slave to them. Self-control in this sense becomes a form of wealth. But even with discipline, life will throw us financial storms, unexpected bills, losses, or sudden downturns. Here, Stoicism gives us another gift: resilience. Friedrich Nietzsche echoed this Stoic spirit when he said, "What does not destroy us makes us stronger." Every financial setback, rather than being a failure, becomes a training ground. Instead of viewing obstacles as roadblocks, Stoics see them as stepping stones for growth. Each challenge teaches us patience, adaptability, and courage. Over time, this resilience forms an inner strength no financial crisis can break. Seneca, one of the wisest Stoics, believed that a happy life is the result of a balanced soul. For our finances, this points us toward simplicity. True wealth isn't about endless accumulation. It's about clarity, balance, and freedom from excess. The Stoic approach to money isn't to reject success or comfort. It is to redefine what it means to live richly. Imagine freeing yourself from the endless race of wanting more, and instead focusing on what truly matters: meaningful experiences, relationships, and peace of mind. By decluttering both our spending and our desires, we create space for a deeper form of prosperity. Musonius Rufus, another Stoic teacher, advised, "The first step is not to be disturbed. The second is to act according to nature." Applied to finance, this means keeping calm during volatility and aligning our decisions with our values. It's not just about profits, it's about integrity. When we spend, invest, or save in ways that reflect our principles, our financial life becomes a mirror of our true selves. Money, then, is no longer just numbers on a screen. It becomes a statement of who we are. Daily reflection is another Stoic tool that transforms finances. Instead of mindlessly spending, we pause and examine our decisions. Are they guided by wisdom or by impulse? This simple practice builds self-awareness, helping us identify harmful patterns and shift toward healthier ones. Reflection brings clarity, balance, and ultimately maturity, not just in our finances, but in every part of our lives. Epictetus also said, "Happiness is the absence of the desire to change one's current condition." In financial terms, this is contentment. It doesn't mean giving up on ambition. It means being grateful for what you have now, while still working toward growth. Contentment calms the restless chase for more and grounds us in the present moment. From this foundation, we make wiser, long-term choices. When contentment guides us, Financial decisions no longer come from fear or greed, but from balance and gratitude. Finally, Stoicism teaches us mastery of emotions. Fear, greed, envy, and excitement often lead to poor money choices. But when we respond with calm reasoning instead of impulsive emotion, we gain control over our financial path. Market crashes, economic shifts, or sudden expenses may shake the world around us, but they do not have to shake us within. As Seneca beautifully said, tranquility comes when we stop wanting things to be different. When we accept what is and work wisely with what we have, we find a deeper peace than wealth alone could ever bring. So what's the ultimate Stoic message for financial well-being? Money is not the end goal. It is a tool. Wealth does not define us. Our wisdom, choices, and values do. True prosperity isn't about the size of our bank account, but the size of our perspective, the strength of our self-control, and the depth of our gratitude. By applying Stoic principles to money, we don't just secure financial health, we create a life of freedom, peace, and purpose. Have you ever wondered why some people remain calm in the face of chaos, unshaken by loss, criticism, or uncertainty, while others break under the slightest pressure? What secret allows one person to walk through life with peace and confidence, while another feels constantly pulled in every direction by fear, desire, and frustration? The answer, my friend, lies in a philosophy that is over 2,000 years old, a way of life known as Stoicism. Far from being just an abstract theory in dusty books, Stoicism is a living, breathing practice. It is the art of mastering yourself, of finding strength in simplicity, and of building a life not ruled by circumstances, but by inner wisdom. Today, we embark on a journey into the ultimate Stoic guide to life, where ancient wisdom meets modern challenges. Stoicism was born in the bustling marketplaces of Athens around 300 BC. Unlike philosophies that withdrew from the world, Stoicism was made for people living busy, complicated lives: merchants, soldiers, leaders, and workers. The Stoics taught that happiness does not come from wealth, fame, or comfort. Instead, it comes from living in harmony with reason and nature, by focusing only on what is within our control and letting go of everything else. At its heart lies a simple but profound idea. You may not control events, but you always control your response to them. This is the ultimate freedom, the one thing no external force can take from you. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor of Rome, put it beautifully. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This single truth is the foundation of Stoic wisdom. Most of our pain, stress, and fear comes not from what happens, but from how we interpret what happens. A setback at work is not the end of the world, unless we convince ourselves it is. Losing money is not ruin, unless we let fear and shame define us. A harsh word from someone only wounds us if we allow it to linger in our hearts. When you grasp this, you begin to reclaim your freedom. Life may throw storms at you, but your mind can remain the calm harbor. The Stoics divided life into two categories: what is within our control and what is outside our control. Within our control are our thoughts, our actions, our choices, and our character. Outside our control are wealth, health, reputation, the behavior of others, and ultimately even life and death. The key is to give your full energy only to what lies in your control, and to accept everything else with serenity. Imagine the relief of no longer fighting battles you can never win, of no longer exhausting yourself over things you cannot change. That is Stoic freedom, the art of letting go. Epictetus, born a slave, yet rising to become one of the greatest teachers of philosophy, taught his students, "Some things are up to us, and some things are not." He reminded them daily that the secret to peace is focusing on the first and surrendering the second. When insulted, you cannot control the insult, but you can control your reaction. When facing illness, you may not control the disease, but you can control your courage. This shift in perspective is powerful. Life no longer feels like an endless battlefield, because you learn which battles are truly yours to fight. Another pillar of Stoicism is discipline, the training of the self. In a world overflowing with distractions, temptations, and endless desires, Discipline is freedom. Seneca, one of Rome's wisest Stoics, said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." Wealth, luxury, and status often promise happiness, yet the Stoics observed that the more we chase them, the emptier we feel. The Stoic discipline is not about rejecting success or comfort, but about ruling over your desires instead of being ruled by them. When you master your wants, you no longer live in slavery to them. Imagine how light life feels when you are content with what you have, yet capable of more when needed. Stoicism also teaches resilience, the art of transforming obstacles into opportunities. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." To a Stoic, obstacles are not barriers, they are the path itself. A delay teaches patience, a failure teaches wisdom, hardship trains courage. Every difficulty becomes a tool for growth, if only we choose to see it that way. Life will always test you with setbacks, losses, and pain, but Stoicism invites you to welcome them as your teachers. The world may take away your possessions, your plans, even your health, but no one can take away your ability to respond with dignity, courage, and strength. And what of emotions? The Stoics never said to suppress or kill your feelings. Rather, they taught mastery. Fear, anger, greed, and envy. These emotions cloud our judgment, enslave our mind, and push us into regretful actions. Stoicism trains us to pause, to question our first impulse, and to respond with reason instead of reaction. Epictetus advised, "When something happens, the only thing in your power is your attitude toward it." By mastering this, you begin to live with calm clarity, no longer tossed about by every wave of emotion. Consider anger, for example. A friend betrays you, a colleague insults you, a stranger cuts you off on the road. The immediate impulse is rage. But what does rage achieve? It harms your peace far more than it punishes them. The Stoic response is to step back and ask, "Is this within my control? Does anger serve me or enslave me?" With practice, you begin to smile at insults, to forgive betrayals, to conserve your energy for things that matter. This does not mean weakness. It means power, the power to rule yourself. Stoicism also extends into relationships. How do you deal with others? Family, friends, colleagues, strangers. The Stoics believed every human being is part of one great community. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "We were made for cooperation, like feet, like hands, like eyelids. Life is not meant to be lived in isolation, nor is it meant to be a battlefield of ego." The Stoic way is kindness, patience, and justice toward others, not because they always deserve it, but because it reflects your character. When you treat others with respect, even when they do not return it, you rise above their behavior. You live according to your principles, not their provocations. One of the most powerful Stoic practices is memento mori, remembering death. To some, this sounds grim, but to the Stoics it was liberating. Life is fleeting, fragile, and uncertain. Death is not a distant shadow, it walks with us every day. By remembering this, we learn to cherish the present, to waste less time on trivialities, to forgive quickly, and to live boldly. Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." When you reflect on your mortality, you awaken to life's preciousness. Every sunrise becomes a gift. Every conversation, an opportunity. Every day, a chance to live with meaning. Another Stoic principle is amor fati, love of fate. This means not only accepting what happens, but embracing it as if you had chosen it yourself. Imagine the strength of mind it takes to face loss, pain, or disappointment, and to say, "This too is good. This too is part of my path." Amor fati transforms suffering into fuel for growth. It teaches us that life's design, however mysterious, works always in our favor if we use it well. Instead of resisting reality, we flow with it. Instead of asking, "Why me?" we ask, "How can this serve me?" Stoicism also gives us guidance in ambition and success. The world tells us to chase status, wealth, and recognition. But the Stoics remind us that true success lies not in what you achieve, but in who you become. You can build empires, earn fortunes, and receive applause, but if you lose your integrity, your discipline, your peace, then you are poor indeed. Epictetus reminded his students, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Success begins with character, with deciding what kind of human being you want to be. Everything else is secondary. In practical life, the Stoics embraced simplicity. They advised living within one's means, practicing gratitude for what one has, and preparing the mind for both abundance and scarcity. Musonius Rufus, a Stoic teacher, urged his students to train themselves in simplicity, not to reject pleasure, but to ensure they were never dependent on it. This prepared them for life's ups and downs, making them free, whether rich or poor. Imagine the peace of living in such a way that nothing external can enslave you, neither wealth nor poverty, neither luxury nor hardship. The Stoics also taught reflection. Every evening they would review their day. What did I do well? Where did I fail? How can I improve tomorrow? This simple habit created growth, humility, and progress. Marcus Aurelius filled his journal, the Meditations, with such reflections, never meant for others, but as reminders to himself. Reflection keeps us awake, conscious, and aligned with our values. It is the compass that guides the Stoic traveler. And so, the ultimate Stoic guide to life is not a set of rigid rules, but a living practice. It is about mastering your desires, embracing your challenges, calming your emotions, cherishing your relationships, remembering your mortality, and aligning your life with virtue. Virtue, to the Stoics, was the highest good, the excellence of character, wisdom, justice, courage, and self-control. If you live with virtue, you live well, no matter your circumstances. Rich or poor, healthy or ill, praised or forgotten, virtue is the one treasure that never leaves you. In our modern world of endless noise, comparison, and consumption, Stoicism is more relevant than ever. It calls us to slow down, to look inward, to reclaim our peace from the chaos outside. It shows us that happiness is not in what we acquire, but in how we live. It reminds us that every obstacle can become a stepping stone, that every loss can teach us, that every day is a chance to practice wisdom. The Stoics would tell us, do not waste your life chasing what you cannot control. Do not hand your peace to the whims of others. Do not postpone living until tomorrow. Instead, live now, live fully, live wisely. Rule yourself, and you will never be ruled by the world. So ask yourself, what kind of person do you want to be? Not what wealth you want or what status you crave, but what virtues you will embody. Courage, wisdom, justice, self-discipline, these are the true riches of life. And the beauty is, they are always within your reach. You do not need perfect circumstances. You do not need the approval of others. You do not need guarantees of success. You only need to begin, here and now, with the choices you make today. This is the heart of Stoicism. This is the ultimate Stoic guide to life. A call not to escape the world, but to engage with it more deeply. A call not to suppress your humanity, but to elevate it. A call not to wait for peace to arrive, but to build it within yourself. And when you do, you will discover a freedom, a strength, and a joy that no storm, no loss, no death can ever take away.